Welcome to the Elevating Leaders series, where we go beyond the headlines and straight to the people who are redefining insurtech and business transformation. We've caught up with the visionaries and the pioneers that are currently driving the industry forward, bringing you exclusive insights, strategies, and stories you won't hear anywhere else. If you're ready to go deeper, this is your front row seat to the future of insurance. I'm Miguel Edwards, and this is 5 Minutes. All right, Heather, thank you so much for joining me here on an episode of 5 Minutes, taking a great amount of time out of your busy schedule here at ITC, and it's great to have you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having Clara.
Absolutely, love it, and so excited to get into the conversation around AI, because that's at the heart of what you do. But,
it is.
But before we jump into that, I always like to ask all of my guests, what sucked you into the insurance vortex? Was it a planned event, or is it something that, again, was just accidental set of circumstances that got you into this industry that won't let go of you?
Sure. Thanks for the question. So I was the head of information and strategy at Kaiser Permanente. So again, provider, payer, operating model. So worked on the payer side and constantly getting the provider of the Kaiser Permanente side onto things that we wanted to build. Again, years ago, different ways, techniques, not where we are now, but got me into that. I was a chief data officer at AIG, and so when you understand the amount of data, when you understand what it takes to build the type of AI applications, any type of analytical applications that we deliver for our clients and the capabilities, it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard work. And so I really made a commitment to myself when I left AIG that I would add not just this buy versus build, but it's called a partner. It's buy, build, partner.
Right.
And so I really wanted to find a way to help to accelerate and be on this side and help the carriers. And then the really pivotal moment for me is I worked in a self-insured. And when you are sitting there and watch injured workers coming out on stretchers, getting in ambulances, you wonder, what's the rest of the story?
Sure.
From a care perspective, from a treatment perspective, from an insurance perspective.
Yeah.
And when you understand the dynamic of a chief risk officer and a self-insured working with a TPA, you really want to help them.
Right.
Help them have visibility, open up that black box, give them a window to help them be a part, have a voice in the case, and direct the case with the TPA. That's an employee.
Sure.
That's an employee that has a family, needs to think about, it's not just a case, it's thinking about getting back to work, getting back to a healthy state. And so I became very passionate about joining Clara because of those instances of watching, whether it was the driver of the trucks, it was the distribution center worker getting hurt. There's a part that we play here, and I wanted to be a part of that.
I love that, Heather. And at a time where insurance is facing so much demonization, the fact that you've put this kind of very emotional face on it in terms of what the purpose of insurance actually is.
That's right.
It's just in time.
That's right. And you have to think about bad things happen in our life. And I really believe insurance is because of claims.
Yeah.
So the existence of insurance is because of claims.
Sure.
It's not because of underwriting.
Right.
It's because something bad happens in our lives, in a personal environment, in a commercial environment. And what do? It's an emotional event. And we need to reach out to our insurance partner.
Yeah. And
that's where, at the end of the day, when we think about our AI applications, we think about the adjuster. Okay, the adjuster has 100 or 200 cases that they are dealing with, and you still want them to have empathy for a claimant who's going through an emotional event. So what does that mean? That means you need to take some of the cognitive load off of an adjuster.
Got it.
Because you want their experience to come through. You want their experience of dealing with cases, of how to service that case. And so an augmented intelligence on the side that's every day triaging this case and giving them the data, the analytics at their fingertips. So when they need to have the summarization of the case, when the claimant comes in, when they need to know the next best action on that case, it's right there at their fingertips. So they feel confident. They're not in a gray area, okay? It's black and white. You've got your data. You can be the emotional IQ can be there as well with them. And so we think about that adjuster because when the cases are being treated, when the cases unfortunately get to a litigation space, it goes to a gray area.
Yeah.
And that's where, it comes to a place where the adjuster's like, okay, I'm dealing with plaintiff law firms out there that I need help. I need to know who I need to choose for a defense against this plaintiff law firm. I need to understand what's going on in these legal demand packages. What are they asking of me? What are they demanding? I got to go through all these documents. AI plays a part here. It's an augmented intelligence sitting right next to them that they can trust and they advise.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.